what numbers are and how to use them, then it kind of depends on the context. So if you're using these as positions, then you can manipulate these and add them together and like reason about them. So if this is the position of an object. So let's say maybe you have a player character standing here. Then we can represent their position using a number, right? If we change the number, we change the position of the player. So this is a very one-dimensional game, it's kind of flat, but we can still use these numbers to represent things. So for instance, if we want to know how far away is the player from 4, for instance, that is a question we can ask that actually makes sense and something we can calculate. And so let's first like draw the value 4. We can draw that as an arrow as well. So if we want to get the distance between 2 and 4, I'm sure many of you are familiar with this concept of checking the distance between two values, but then we would generally do something like 4 minus 2. So if we take this vector, but we cut off, or this arrow, and then we cut off this part, then we get the distance between 2 and 4, right? So 4 minus 2, that gives us 2, and 2 is the distance between here from the player to the value 4, right? Okay, so that's just kind of like the basics of number manipulation. You can just kind of subtract to get the difference between two values. Then you can also add them to get offsets. So maybe you have like some object that's floating around behind the player or something. Maybe you have a camera that's following the player. So maybe this is a camera, and you want to place this camera relative to the player. So let's say the player is moving, then you want the camera to follow the player. So then you can set the camera position based on the player position. So maybe you do player position plus some offset. So maybe you want the camera to be like 1 unit away from the player. Then the camera position would then be player position 2 plus 1, and then you get the position of the camera. And so I think it's good to think of numbers as things you can manipulate relative to each other, measure against each other, and sort of think about them spatially as existing along this line. I just need to go open a window because it's really warm in here for some reason. So I'll be right back. Very warm. Okay. So we can sort of make up some rules that can be useful. And so first we have the rule of addition. Like we can add these together. So we can add numbers together to offset them. We can also scale things if we multiply them. So that's kind of the two operations that we usually work with. Okay. Let's see. Just need to erase things because it's getting a little messy. Can we keep the player? I don't know if we keep the player. Okay. So we can already like write some useful rules when working with numbers. So let's say we want to write a general rule to get the distance between two numbers. And so let's say we have a number A, and then we have a number B, and we want to get the distance between these two. So let's say we write. So if you want to get the distance between A and B, how would we do this? Well, like I mentioned before, we can subtract things to get the difference, like we did before. So if A is the character here, let's say that's the value of A, and then we have B is the value here, and we want to get the distance between these two. So the distance would represent the number that represents the distance between these two, right? And so the thing we did before is that we did B minus A.